He kept calling on the phone from 6 to 7 times from the 13th to the 17th, telling me he wanted me out. It was a nightmare for me to have to be harassed. The kids go to dump the trash. My child had to be harassed. My niece had to be harassed.
Just a second. Hold on a second. Hold on. He told you that he wanted you to move on the 13th. That's what you're... Just a second.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yes.
He told you he wanted you to move on the 13th. Now, I would like you to tell me, Mr. Gonzalez, March, April... She moved in March.
Yes.
March, April, May. Any problems?
She was always late, but I didn't care because
Always
of her
late with her rent.
She was always late, but her situation, because of her daughter, she was in a place where she witnessed a crime that scared her. I understand I have a child myself, but to say, I'm sorry.
In March, in April, and May, other than being late in her rent, was she a reasonable tenant?
Yes, she was.
What happened, and you had no problem with her?
No.
Other than the late rent?
Other than the late fee.
What happened, sir, in June?
In June, her daughter's father had came down before I met him. He seemed to be a pretty nice guy. On June the 12th was the altercation when her daughter's father and her, the child himself, got into a physical fight. Things started sounding breaking. My daughter is six years old. I didn't want her to see this. I went over, I calmed things down, I asked them to stop. It seemed to be okay, but my daughter goes to school too, Your Honor, and I have to take her 23 miles just to get to one school, so we have to get up quite early. At 2 in the morning, she was on the phone yelling. I mean, she was
Who's
cursing.
she?
Miss Fair. She was cursing so loud. It was through the... I just banged on the wall to say, please stop. I didn't even go over there. It didn't stop. After it continued for about 2 to 3 minutes, I went over there. I told my daughter to stay here. I asked, could I speak to Stephanie? She wouldn't even come to the door. The ex-husband or whoever, he told me if I rang the bell again, he would kick my, this and that. And I didn't want to become volatile. I rang the bell and asked, could I speak to Stephanie again? He came out and greeted me face to face. Not that I can't defend myself, Your Honor. I just chose not to. I left the porch. I called her and I asked her, I said, I'm going to need to speak to you tomorrow. I didn't even tell her she had to go. All I did was wanted to speak to her about rectifying this situation, this nuisance. I have a right to live in my own property and feel safe myself. And I was doing her, I can't believe I'm here, Your Honor. I was doing her a favor. I didn't charge her first or last rent. I didn't charge her a deposit. I lowered the rent. I bent over backwards for her. And for her to do me like this, I'm appalled.
When you called and said, I have to speak to you tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened?
She laughed at me and hung the phone up. I tried to contact her. She would walk by. The units are so close that I would try to walk and say, can I talk to you for a minute? Nothing to say to you. She would put her, like this. The thing, like that. Nothing to say to you. And her children.
Well, let me ask you this question. Miss Fair, just a second.
Because when he told me that me and my daughter could stay on the premises, you're telling a lie, John, because he says, okay, I'm going to tell you this. You better get over here and talk to me right now. If not, you're going to have problems out of me. When he says, if you don't talk to me right now. So when I said, look, John, I'm cooking dinners for the church. I'm selling dinners for the church. I will talk to you when I get home. No, you better come over here immediately.
Miss Fair, you had no problem with him
No.
Shh. If you had no problem with him, there's no basis for this lawsuit. So don't anticipate my question.
Okay.
You had no problem with him in March, April, and May. He didn't tell you to leave. He didn't serve you with an eviction notice. This problem started when your daughter's father came and stayed with you for a couple of days. Is that correct?
The problem, no. Because I had gotten an argument with my sister. He had never had any problem. Him and my daughter's father were friends. They socialized, they sat and ate dinners and stuff together. Okay, now what I'm saying is
I'm saying is, tell me what happened that he did to you to harass you in March.
In March, he didn't do anything.
Good. Tell me what he did to harass you in April.
Coming over to my house all the time.
That's baloney. Tell me what happened in May.
Nothing happened in May, ma'am.
Right. What happened in June when your daughter's father came to visit and there was noise coming from the apartment. Then it all started, and when he tried to rectify the situation or try to talk to you, you blew him off.